the hot stocks of last week. We add a segment in here. We'll reel off a couple of stocks that made news last week. Micron was on fire last week, ended the week very strong. So the thing with Micron is that, man, it's been on a run.
Tell us about it. Yeah, don't say. Shout out to everybody that's invested in Micron.
Yeah, it's on a historic run. Troy talked about at EY University early, and it's done extremely well. So the obvious thing is that, okay, what comes up must come down eventually. So people that have Micron options, Micron stock, and they've experienced a lot of gains. How long can this continue?
It's not time to sell.
Can you tell them what I told you 3 weeks ago?
About Micron?
Yeah, what I tell you? I told you what the number was, but what I say the real number was?
300?
So when it was at 242, and shout out to MG, I'm sure he'll come on and talk about it as well. I'm like, and even EYL University, I'm looking at this space and I'm saying to myself, the writing is on the wall. The writing is on the wall, right? If you could control pricing and there's a demand, right, and the supply is low, then you really have the advantage, right?
While others especially are stepping away from it.
Oh my gosh. And if you look at what your competitors are doing, they're trying everything they can to make sure that they can meet or fulfill their order limits, whether that's Samsung, right, South Korea, right, or it's SK Hynix, South Korean company. If you look what SK Hynix did 2 weeks ago, they have now committed $13 billion to extending their factory so they can try to meet the demand. They're building this thing so fast that it's going to be online by next year, right? Yeah. But that means this year, the supply, I don't even know if they're going to be able to meet the demand, right? And so you start to look at other players in the space. Obviously, Micron being American made. It's crazy. We talked to Cheryl McKisnick about the factory that they're building in New York. That's not even going to be online until 2030. It's going to be one of the largest data centers or data sets in the entire country. So the demand is going to be there. The GPU demand hasn't gone anywhere, and we saw that on Thursday. We were actually sitting down in Morocco, and I'm like, look, TSM, the demand is still there. So if the demand for GPUs and CPUs is still there, that means that they're going to need their brain of that operation, which will be their high bandwidth memory, which helps AI in terms of agentic functioning. It was all there. And so that's interesting. I think Micron is a story that is going to continue into 2026. Western Digital is in there as well. Seagate is in there as well. And obviously, people who were a part of the Market Mondays family, when we talked about SanDisk, I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This one's on a rocket ship. And will there be a pullback? I'm sure it'll pull back. Yeah. But the story doesn't change. Yeah, the story doesn't change, right? When people are buying high bandwidth memory, right? Let's break this down, right? If a company like Micron is buying high bandwidth memory, right? There's still other forms of memory that are needed, SSDs. There's still forms that are going to be needed. Who's buying that? There's about 7 to 8 companies that are buying a boatload of the high bandwidth memory. But what does that leave for the PC companies, the laptop companies, the phone companies? Those devices need memory too. And so that's when you see, wait, who could be that next layer, right? If they're focusing on high bandwidth memory, who's focusing here?
Yeah.
Right? Like who's at this level? It's kind of like when we were talking about AMD and NVIDIA, right? If they're making GPUs and they got 85% of them, that means they've left the CPU market wide open.
All together, and it's wide open for another player. Yep.
So who can come in? People are still going to use computers. Yeah. Who can come in that space and now take over? So like when you start looking at the playing field, it becomes very clear to you. Okay, high bandwidth memories in demand. They used to do, okay, well, oh, wait, there's a company over here. And they actually split to another division. I'm talking about Western Digital, and they created SanDisk. Oh, Look at what that chart's done since February. Are you kidding me?
And the second half of the decade is going to go to the most focused companies and most focused CEOs. Like, if you saw the CEO of Micron or SanDisk walk on the street, you wouldn't know who they are. They're not all in the video like the Drewski skit. They're just focused on making the business better. My price for Micron is $472.75 is where I think it'll get to. And the companies that are not doing incredibly well and that have not been focused, they paid the price, they've suffered. But them, NVIDIA, AMD, SanDisk will continue to rise, hold for the long term.
There's reports that the shortage is expected to continue through 2028, 2029. We're in 26, y'all.
Well, we talked about SanDisk. We talked about MU. TSM was another company last week that had a jump.
You don't say.
So TSM, how's the outlook for TSM? They had the jump last Thursday it reported?
Last Thursday. Yeah, you know, I mean, I've been talking about this company for, I feel like, the entirety of the show.
Since the beginning.
Been one of my favorite
And
companies.
if it wasn't for that geopolitical thing, they would be.
And I feel like it's beginning to get its due now, but it tells you the importance of how strong this company is and what it means to the overall AI economy, right? Because if you watch what happened Thursday when they blew out their quarter, look at what every company in the AI space did, right? ASML's up, NVIDIA went up, Broadcom went up, AMD was up, Micron. All these companies were up based on the demand, right? That's why they're reporting. It's interesting. That usually comes before all the big tech companies, right? So it talks about, wait, how are the orders looking? There's no slowdown. In fact, the growth is looking exponential quarter after quarter. So that tells you that this story is not done yet. There's still legs to it. I know everybody's want to say, oh, this is a bubble and it's run its course. But I'm like, well, look at how much money is being spent at TSM right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
yeah.
They're on a tear. This was a company that we've been in price since like $87. One of the best investments that has been in the portfolio is going to continue to grow. I think TSM is one of, if it's in your portfolio, you leave it there long term and you're happy with it. Because the AI is going to be the story, not just for this year. It's going to be the story for the near future, and they're going to play an integral part of it. I don't care if it's NVIDIA that is the leader in GPUs or if it's Google saying, hey, can you manufacture this for me, right? Whether it's a TPU or Broadcom saying their XPU, the manufacturer is still the choice has been Taiwan Semiconductor, and that doesn't look like it's going to change. In fact, I think it's actually going to be increased when the fabs come online here in America.
Yeah, we did do a one-day option on that.
Shadi, you did?
Yeah, we both did.
Okay.
He told me to do a one-day option.
All right.
So why you look mad?
Yeah, I was just saying.
No, I'm just saying we did a one-day option.
I'm testing something out. I'm gonna be 100% transparent. I'm testing. I told people one of my goals here on Market Mondays was like I want to be even better with technical analysis. And so so I wanted to. I've been like studying that right every chance I get, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna test some of these short-term options out. The long-term ones we've been pretty good with. I mean, modestly speaking, we've done pretty well with some of the long-term leaps. But I wanted to see, right, because the shorter contracts, 6 months to 2 months to sometimes a month out, number one, they can have some huge gains, but they're also a little bit more affordable for the everyday person. And so this is 100% transparent. It's 3:50 New York Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. I had read all the reports. Obviously, I studied TSM, and I'm like, yo, we're sitting down watching this game. I'm like, yo, Shadi, I got a good feeling about this. I usually tell the guys like, yo, I'm about 80. I give them a percentage. Like, I'm 85%. Yo, I'm 90%. Yeah. I'm 95%. And when I say that, they're like, oh, if he's 95%, I believe in this. So I'm like, look, I'm about 90% here. I think TSM had pulled back on Wednesday. It was down to 327. I'm like, yeah, we could probably get in a 330 call out for like February or the end of the month.
No, it was next week.
No, it was 2 weeks.
It was January 20th.
That's not a Friday.
It was something. It was next week. It was a week.
It was the 30th. The 30th, January 30th. So I'm like, all right, well, that's 3 weeks. It's at 327. Mm-hmm. $3 move. I know they're gonna blow out earnings. I got all my I won't call it my crystal ball, but I got my method to figure out how it's gonna report. Yo, 5 minutes to go. I'm like, yo, we're going to do this, Shotty. I'm like, here. We literally phones next to each other like, we're going to do it. So we do it. That morning, I wake up because we're 6 hours behind.
6 hours ahead.
6 hours ahead. I'm like, oh, damn, we got to wait. When the market opened or reported, I think because TSM reported like 6:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it was at $357, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, bet. We got to stick to our game plan. So we're watching this like sketchy Wi-Fi in the car. I'm like, look, he's like, yo, when you going to sell it? When you going to sell it? I said, yo, you know my rule. Like 100% is my number. If I get to 100%, I'm out of here. So I think you got to 100%, right?
97.
So you got the 90%, 97. So literally from 3:50 p.m. to like about a 10-minute trade, really. Mm-hmm. He's up 97%. I lose. This is the day that Verizon loses service. I got no service. I can't even get into my phone. So I'm like, yo, I need somebody's Wi-Fi. I need somebody's Wi-Fi. It takes me about 30 minutes to get Wi-Fi. By the time I opened my account, I was up 147%. And so, I took profit and said, all right, let's move on with our day.
Amazing. TSM, my end of year target will either be 448.52, and my 3-year target will be 576.54. If you're in it long term, please don't get out. And great job on the trade.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you. You know what happens in those type of trades? 2 things happen. He goes through the exact emotion that most people do. They're like, damn. That was fire. Like that's when it works. Like that was a great trade, right? The second emotion is, damn, I should have held longer. No, I should have put more money.
It's either more money in or held longer. Yep, it always works that way.
Yeah, you think about that, right? Like I always tell my brother, I'm like, yo, 5 get you 10, 10 get you 20.
Well, given that if I would have had more time, like I told him, I said I would have put 100,000 in, because if you look at it from a mathematical standpoint, like
Troy, you funny.
You know what I'm saying?
100,000 get you 97.
This is
in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
This is why I got to get better. That's why I want to be even better.
Intraday. And Kevin, people ask for a price where to get in. I gave a price. If you don't want me to give a price on the show, I won't. And Stock Club, if you want to know where to get in and where to get out on all the most amazing companies in the world, go to ianinvest.com. Not only am I giving monthly prices, now I'm giving weekly prices for the hottest stocks in the world, so you never have to wait a full month to get new prices. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. Back to you, Troy Rashad.
Mike, check your text message, bro.
And get your tickets to Invest Fest.
Please do.
We cooking up. We got some announcements that we're gonna make. Speaking of Red Panda, check Telegram. If you're in Red Panda, you're gonna get your discount code. But Invest Fest, August 7th to August 9th. Life-changing information. This is the year 6. Time flies.
This is a fact.
Year 6 of Invest Fest. Wow. If you've been to Invest Fest, put some fire in the chat.